I've already recorded this review 3 times today. Let's hope third time's a charm. Let's give it a try. Spiral from the Book of Saw. It is finally here. I have been waiting for this movie for an entire year because originally, according to schedule, this movie was supposed to come out last year, and then due to the condition of the world that we live in, and what was happening at that point in time, the movie got pushed back. A year to 2021, and for most movie releases, it was maybe 2 months, and then if that didn't work out, it was 4 months. And with Black Widow, with that film, it does have a clear release now, but man, I still remember back last year when that film said it was gonna come out in August, and it was gonna come out in December, and then it ended up getting pushed back. Why didn't they just do what Spiral did, where it got pushed back an entire year, and they just waited for fans to see it then? And it's it all works out perfectly now because theaters are starting to reopen, out in America, so more people can go to the theater. Obviously, 1.5 distancing still applies, hand sanitizer, all of that is still important. So keep doing that. So Spiral from the Book of Saw. I was excited for this movie. I was hyped out of my mind. I could not wait to see this movie. Since last year, I've been trying. I have wanted to know everything about this movie. I am a die-hard Saw fan. I love the Saw franchise. At least I love majority of the entries and installments in the franchise. Some I like more than others, and then there's others that I still like, but they don't really do much for me from a character and story point of view. And I know you can probably say, you can probably give me the reason that we don't watch a Saw movie. We don't watch a Saw movie for characters or a story. Overall, we are there for the traps. And you're probably right. And that is the main reason why we all go, why this franchise is as big as it is we are there to see the over the top, we are there to see the big climactic trap. We're there to see how the traps exactly will play out. So and there were a few reasons for why I was excited for Spiral. The biggest reason is because Darren Lynn Bousman is back on board as a director here, and for the Saw fan base, Darren Lynn Bousman, he is he knows his way, or he knows his way around the world of Saw, because he directed Saw 2, 3, and 4. So he's very familiar with the timeline of this franchise and how convoluted it is. And so having him behind the camera, with the talent of Samuel L. Jackson, and having a comedian as the main star, I was a bit hesitant but Chris Rock, he is a great comedian. He is an amazing actor if he's in the right material. And so front and center is very much a serious franchise, and I don't think Spiral is the first comedic, real comedic entry in this franchise, and of course I see why there's comedy in it, because you have a comedian as the main star, and you obviously have to let him say a few jokes. And that's probably where my first negative is with this movie, is I don't think humor fits a Saw movie. It doesn't it doesn't fit the tone. It doesn't fit the tone for a Saw movie. And as I was watching, like, and plus it's not funny. Like, if you are to put humor in a Saw movie, like, at least make me laugh, even if it's like once or twice. As long as it makes me laugh, like, I am happy. But the humor in this movie fails on every level. I did not laugh once. All the humor was very one note, and it just it felt out of place, and it felt like an afterthought. Um, yeah, yeah, that's my complaint on the humor. Like, I have nothing against humor being in a Saw movie. If a director or a writer thinks humor is fitting for like the Saw movie that they're making, sure, go for it. I mean, I have no problem with that. My problem here is it just doesn't fit, and it doesn't work. That's the biggest that's the biggest problem I have with the humor in it. Like, it's like, at least make it work. And here's the thing as well: you have a comedian delivering this dialogue. Like, surely you can make the audience laugh. But anyways, yeah, that's my little rant. I'm not gonna go on like ranting about the humor in it. I was not really a fan of the humor in this movie. Um, the next negative for this movie is which we all come to expect this is the twist. Each Saw movie since the first has had a little twist at the end of each movie, and this one is no exception. The twist in this one, I felt, was very predictable. Like, I could see it coming from a mile away. Once this movie hits a specific point, when you watch the movie, you will know exactly what I mean by that. You see the aftermath of one of the traps, and this is the only trap where you don't see, you don't see the trap unfolding, or you don't see it play out. You don't exactly see like what happened to this victim. And then the other traps in the movie, like, they're all on screen, so it felt very odd to me that this one trap was an exception to the others. So, and then after that, it became so obvious. Like, that this guy or this person was this person was the Jigsaw copycat. And then there's a scene later on when they find out details on a computer. I'll put it that way. Which then, that point basically gave it all away. Like, there was no surprise after that. It's like this movie wanted you to know who the killer was before the killer reveal happened. And when the killer reveal is playing out, it's, I guess, the end, the music, the music fading in and out, and like the mixing of the music and all that, like they make it seem like it's so much bigger than, like, it's bigger than life. Like, oh man, like it is this character. I bet you didn't see that happen. Like, this movie treats it like it's a surprise, when, like, it's so obvious, and it's basically like death staring you in the face that this character is the killer. Like, there was no surprises, no suspense. It was like, it was so obvious, and it just makes me question, why give it away? Like, yeah, like, I wasn't a fan. Like, it's obvious, like, in the trailers as well, if you know where to look. But yeah, I was not a fan of the twist in this movie, to be honest. Yeah, the twist, like Saw 1 had a much better twist. Saw 2 had a much better twist. Basically, any other Saw movie had a twist that had shock value to it, and in timeline, it made sense in some way. Minus Saw 7, the final chapter, but even that twist with with Dr. Gordon, even with him, like even that twist makes sense when going back to the first movie and looking at it all as a whole. Like even that makes sense. This reveal, it didn't have like any shock value. Like when it happened, I was just like, yeah, okay, there's the killer. Chris Rock's character Zeke knows who the killer is now. No suspense. Like it was all ruined for me in the middle of the movie because it was so obvious. But yeah, anyways, I'm not gonna drag out this review talking about the twist in the movie. The like this one I don't this I'm mixed on. Okay, the music in the film, some of it was good. Like at the end when they're playing, when they're playing the iconic, what is it, the iconic, they're playing the iconic Hello Zep. Like when the twist is unfolding, like that is awesome. Like that is that is cool. But then the movie, it has like a very like it has kind of like a very like uplifting, upbeat like rap score to it. And I don't know, it's just like that didn't feel fitting for a Saw movie. Like it does kind of make sense in some scenes. Um, like at the beginning, there were a few scenes where like rap music was fitting. Um, but yeah, I was not the biggest fan of the score. I mean, like some of it's catchy, like the Spiral song that 21 Savage did. Like yeah, that's a pretty catchy song, and that is featured in the movie as well. So that's a pretty good song. But like the score as a whole, I don't think it really fitted the tone of a Saw movie. But yeah. Um, but yes, the acting as well. If I'm being honest, the acting I did not think was all that amazing. Chris Rock. I think he does a decent enough job as the main character. Like he does a good job with majority of his dialogue delivery. And yeah, and I think he's a really good actor in this. But then Samuel L. Jackson, he is in this movie for he's not in this movie for all that long. He maybe has 8 minutes max of screen time, so he doesn't really play like a big part. He just kind of shows up and then he goes somewhere, and then stuff happens, and yeah, that's really his role in this. He doesn't really. I mean, he does have an integral thing. He does have to the overall story of the movie and how it kind of ties into the ending of it. But yeah, I didn't really think Samuel L. Jackson was the greatest. Like this isn't his greatest performance. Like it felt like he was it didn't look like he wanted to be there. Maybe because yeah, there were a few lines like when he says like the classic like mother effer line that we all saw in the teaser trailer. Like that was sick because that's kind of like that's Samuel L. Jackson's thing. Like he says it in every damn movie now. So that was cool. But yeah, I didn't really think like he wasn't the standout here at least. Yeah, but yeah, Chris Rock, he was good. Max, I don't know how to say his last name. but he plays Zeke's partner. And yeah, like I thought he was really good. Um, and yeah, so yeah, I think the casting. I think in areas, hmm, I think there's some cases where they could maybe chosen a more like maybe a better actor as far as dialogue delivery and presence on screen. Yeah, and but then yeah, moving on from that, like I'm talking about a Saw movie, and there's no way I was going to do a review on this movie if I was not going to talk about the traps in Saw from the Book of Saw. This movie, it's the traps in this aren't the most gruesome traps in the franchise. Like there is one trap I'd say is up there in conversation with one of the most violent traps in the franchise. I'd say it's in the it's towards the middle point in the movie. When you see it, like hopefully you will know what I mean, and all that. But yeah, as far as over the overall traps, yeah, the traps in this movie, are really good. Um, there is some fantastic like practical gore, like the practical gore, the attention to detail on it, the like as far as like blood and the blood and like human flesh and just like and little bits of skin and all that, like amazing, like and all that, like amazing, like there's some really fantastic like practical like gore in this movie, and I was like like the traps in this movie, they do have that reaction where you are kind of like wincing at the screen, like you want to close your eyes, but you also just you don't want to miss the payoff to it. So it does keep that shock factor that we do know from the Saw franchise and that we're familiar with. Um, um, yeah, so there's not really much else I can say about the traps without like spoiling it. Yeah, just go watch the movie for yourself. Yeah, you will see what I mean. Because yeah, the traps are the one thing that you can't spoil in a Saw movie, like for anyone. You just have to let them experience it for themselves and let them have their own reaction to it. But yeah, the traps in this movie like are nowhere near as violent as the traps in the other past like 8 Saw movies. But yeah, like the traps in this, like yeah, they are really cool. The opening trap on the train track, that was a really cool opening. It's a really strong opening for the movie. Um, there's the um, there's the finger trap, which I think I can say that because it was in the trailer. Yeah, like yeah, that was a pretty that was a hard to watch trap. Yeah, and it's like okay, I do have a little bit of a concern with the traps. Like this isn't only traps themselves; it's just how the movie was edited. Like there's a one trap in particular I can't say, but there's one trap in particular where it's like where it is very like the editing is jumping around from the police and detective point of view to like back to the trap, back to the detectives, back to the trap, and it's jumping around like so much. It's hard to focus on like on one thing. I felt like what would have been better with the editing in this film is if we saw the trap and then we cut back to the detective story and we follow that story for another like 15-20 minutes, then another trap happens. We didn't need all this jumping around. I like the editing in this movie was very distracting, especially when it came to like how the traps were edited. I mean I thought like the how like the opening trap with the train track, I thought how that was edited was really good. And the traps, like they do keep the sped up, like the sped up camera work that we know from the other 8 Saw movies, which is really good. That's familiar Saw territory. I love that. Fantastic. Um, but then, like, after the first trap in this movie, the other traps, they have this really weird, like, editing style, which I don't know how I feel about it. I didn't like it. It made the movie feel very jumbled, and it made it feel very out of place. And I did not know really how I did feel about like I was because as soon as I was invested in the trap, the movie would immediately cut to the detective story, and I was zoned out of the trap. And then when we were back in the trap, I was like, yay, yay, we are in a Saw trap now. But yeah, it's just like the editing. It's all it's all cut around in a really strange way. And the editing, it didn't have a flowing pace to it. Yeah, which was disappointing. It's Darren Lynn Bousman directing, since he's familiar with this franchise and he's familiar with the world of Saw, and he's familiar with the Sawverse. His direction in this, he does bring a new take to this, while bringing his familiar knowledge of Saw to this. And before I end this review, there's another negative I have to say. Where does this movie connect within the Sawverse? Where does this connect in? I understand that this movie is a sequel, and the other 8 movies they have already happened, and this is taking place many years after those movies. I understand that, because this movie says that John Kramer is dead when we see a few portrait photos of him, but it's just this movie is called Saw, and the twist doesn't really tie in to any movie. This is a standalone, but it's called Saw, Spiral from the Book of Saw. So it is connected in the Saw timeline somehow. But where? If the only tie-in is that John Kramer is dead, we learnt that in Jigsaw. So I don't know what's the point on revisiting that. But yeah, I don't know where this ties in, because this feels like its own thing. This movie, there's parts of it that feel very much like a Saw movie, and then there's other parts that feel like a detective story, which is what this movie is. It very much is a detective story. But yeah, this movie just doesn't really have any tie-in to the franchise, which is disappointing for a Saw movie. They all, that's the thing about the Saw franchise, is as jumbled as the timeline is, they all all 8 movies, they connect within one another. They connect within one another in the end. And Spiral will never be included in that conversation, because it doesn't really tie into really any of the 8 movies. There might be something I'm missing. Maybe there's something I didn't notice in the movie. Maybe this does connect in with to one of the 8 movies. It might, but from what I saw, yeah, this movie doesn't connect in with any of the 8 movies. So, yeah. But yeah, like, yeah, in the end, like, is this the worst Saw movie? Is this a movie that, is this a movie I'm going to watch a second time? No, this is not the worst Saw movie. Like, this movie does have entertainment value. There is good performance in it for the most part. And like there is good things to enjoy in this movie. It's, and would I watch it a second time? Probably not, to be honest. I mean, if I wanted to like rewatch the traps, like I would just like YouTube them. But if I was sitting for a full 90 minutes, like, yeah, just to watch the traps, like, I don't think so. Like, I mean, there is a cool character story in here as well with Zeke. Like, there is an interesting, I guess, somewhat story with him. So, yeah, I know a lot of people like this movie, and and if you like Spiral, like, don't come across as I am like hating on it. Like, in the end, this is my opinion. I'm just speaking from what I saw of this movie. But if you like Spiral from the Book of Saw, like, more praise to you. Like, I'm glad you can enjoy this movie, and I'm glad this is higher on your ranking than some of the other Saw sequels. Like, I'm glad. So you don't think I'm coming across as a hater here. I just really like the Saw movies, and this just just missed the mark for me. But yeah, like, there is good stuff in it, and I did enjoy it for the first viewing, but there is a lot of problems in this movie, which like, with director Dylan Bozeman in charge, like, with him, like, yeah, it's just like, it makes me more disappointed why this movie doesn't connect in with any of the Saw like sequels. It's just, yeah, I was disappointed. So yeah, let me know down in the comments. Have you seen Spell from the Book of Saw? What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you think it was meh? Or did you really not like it? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. So anyways, guys, I hope you have a good rest. I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night, wherever you are. And I will see you in the next video. Alright, bye.